Hey everyone, this is Alicia Cummings, and I'm on my joyous journey. Hold on, let me adjust my camera. How y'all doing today? Or tonight? It's late night. Most of the times I make my videos are late. I don't know. I have to work out something where I make my videos earlier in the day or in the morning. Some mornings. So I made a video yesterday, I think it was, and I just put it out. Um, I kind of I don't edit my videos. I just go ahead and just send it out when I'm done. I might like lately just listen to it to see if it's kosher, but it is what it is. There's not much I can do. I'm not keen on editing my videos. I'm not very sure how to do that. But um I want to say that I'm not gonna let this, you know, video be very long. I hope I could just be straight up and to the point. Look, I really miss someone. I miss two people in general, but I was mistreated badly by both of them, you know. Um, Somewhere my heart is convicted right now because all I want to do is just give this person a hug. One of them, the other one too. But, you know, I just really want to give them a hug because of all that they have been through from their childhood all the way up. I guess it will be both of them, but one in particular, but I know that I can't do that. Um, I don't know how to reach out to them to express that, I really do care about you and I'm not trying to push up on you or nothing like that, but I just wanted to, show, you know, somewhat more of gratitude and, or just show that, I do care, because I believe this person is doing things out of anger, out of maybe hurt, just being hurt, as an individual. And this particular person doesn't have an emotional side. He's really an emotionally bankrupt person, and it's kind of like, not the same as what draw me into, being with them at one particular point in time. But there was a lot of toxicity, and I just like wanted to apologize for how I would speak to him or whatever. And the same goes for someone else, how I would speak to them when I got angry, I go off and I just did not have no filter. And certain people you can't really do that with, especially, you know, I don't know, I guess they be wanting to fight, or whatnot. But that's where the line is drawn because I truly can't get over the fact that this person was manhandling me and abusing me, you know. But I still stayed confused and just all in disarray, mind just gone, not even taking care of myself the right way or anything. I wasn't doing what I was doing before I met him and when I met him, it still wasn't doing that good of a job taking care of myself even then because I didn't need to be in a relationship. I just needed to be friends, and get to know this person. That's why it's so vital for you to not just jump into, you know, a relationship or just being intimate and things like that with, you know, with guys, period. And this goes for women. That you know, women, men, and women. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's just what I'm on. Okay. Um, nothing to be nothing to be like offensive towards anyone. You know. But anyway, so another person has been away from me. And when I say away from me, it's just completely just, no communication. And this is the one, you know. And I've already read or learned, about, you know, people who that are you're supposed to be with, and they could be out in the world just frolicking or with someone else or whatnot. But that doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be together. Whoever God puts together, let no man put asunder. I guess that's the way you say it. Um, but it's pretty hurtful to sit on the sideline, not as a side chick, but just you're not even dealing with them in that way, but just on the sideline and just kind of like take care of yourself. Make sure you're straight. Make sure your children are straight. Make sure you are on your game as far as taking care of yourself, whether it be, physically, financially, mentally, verbally, all of these things in your energy, you know, learning to control your energy and not letting anyone steal your joy, and interrupt your ability to function, with a stable mind, you know. And I mean, like like everything that is like well rounded. You're well rounded in everything, because it's hard to like come from in the past that you've had mental health issues and things like that, and not being able to control yourself, or not being able to know uh, what avenues or what ways you can, you know, have a stable mind. Number one is God. Now, I'll tell you that. God is the center. He's the center of your universe. You know what I'm saying? He's the center of the universe. He's the center. He created the universe. He is the heavyweight, undisputed champion of the entire universe, you know, and he will keep you in alignment. You know what I mean? You have to lean on him and depend on him and worship him and honor him, pray to him, and give your all to him. Study, take time to yourself and him to study your word. I am still working on that myself. I'm still working on trying to keep my mind stable. I have times where I have a lot of things in disarray, and it has my mind a little bit in disarray. You know what I mean? Like, your house clean or whatever. You have to say a house of cleanliness is a house of godliness. you know what I'm saying, and things like that. And I just got work to do, you know, and it keeps my mind steady, and I won't be thinking about, you know, the significant other of mine that is supposed to be, you know, well, when the time comes, when God decides, you know. Um, yeah. So, that's my take on it. My take on, you know, if you don't know how to cook, you like take cooking classes, or, you know, get recipes and follow the recipes, and, you know, and just, you know, try different, you know, meal plans, and different, like, you know, dishes and stuff like that, you know, going from like Italian to Mexican, you know, soul food, Japanese, you know what I'm saying? You know, things like that, you know, that will keep you right. You'll learn more different meals to make, and just making home a lot better, you know, just making homey. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, that was my piece. I wanted to like just get that off my chest, because I always say so many things about certain people. You, of course, you don't know who it is, because I don't say any names. So I'm not doing that, but I'm just saying that, you know, just have a compassion for others. And sometimes people can do some really raw, messed up things to you. Okay, especially just physically. That just because that those things have happened, it doesn't mean that you can't forgive them, but you just can't forget. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget, because these things, if you tread down that road and try to be and reconcile with this person, he's really angry because of the times y'all been apart. He's really angry because he has not had that control over you that he's had for so long, or she's had for so long. Okay. And it's really serious, you know, that if you can't, like I said, I wanted to give him a hug, just to hug him and just say it's gonna be okay. I can't even do it, you know, because the thought of me hugging this person that has done these things to me in the past, and just actually really been doing the most spiritually over the past couple of years, that has really thrown me for a loop. I mean, I'm in here almost every day cussing and hollering and hooping, and just so mad. You know, while this person is off somewhere doing whatever he wants to do, but still in his mind, he's angry at me because of whatever. I ain't going into detail, but just, and even whether if I did anything wrong, which I did not, whether you were wrong or right, you still don't need to be treated that way. That it's not your fault. If this person can't keep his hands to himself, and he can't stop doing things to try to harm you in a physical manner. When you wrong, you wrong. But I forgive you. I forgive him. I don't want to hug him. You know what I'm saying? I said I can't hug him, rather. So, I just thought I'd just say that piece right there. Um, I'll be more that I'll be coming to talk to you about. Maybe a little bit of like this. So I wish I could just go ahead and just say what it is that I need to say, but evidently I can't, you know. But maybe one day I'll be able to express myself in a manner that someone will really see and really hear exactly what in the world happened to you, Alicia. We're all together though. I've gotten better. I'm doing better. God is the leader of my life. And I follow him and I love him. You know, I give thanks to the Lord for His goodness, mercy endure forever. And I know that in Philippians 4:19 it says, "But my God shall supply all your needs according to His riches and glory by Christ Jesus." And in Philippians 4:13 it says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." And that makes me smile and happy. And I'll pray and um, I pray that and for everything to go well for this person, that I wish him the best in all of his endeavors, you know, from afar, you know, but I give thanks. I love you. Thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe to my video, and even, you can leave a comment if you kind of relate to what I'm saying, you know, or if you understand what I'm saying. I try to make it as clear as possible, and if I didn't, then I know I could try to find another way to air things out to where, nobody's being exposed and things like that. But that's what my main focus is. On the other end of the spectrum is like, I don't want anybody to feel a certain way because some things I'm saying, I mean, if it's truth, it's truth. The truth hurts, you know. So, okay. Yeah, have a good night.